Hey guys, I am J. Prazzi, a speculative fiction author. It has been a long time since I've been on here, and I'm in quarantine for a couple of weeks. So I figured I'd just kind of come on and give you guys all the updates. I usually hand out newsletters and on my Discord and on my social media, and we'll just kind of chat. You guys can ask some questions if you want. My husband is taking a nap, but he might wake up at some point, and I'll probably end it then to give him his privacy while he's playing video games and whatnot. So we'll just kind of get on with things. But yeah, anyways, like I mentioned before, if you want regular updates, YouTube probably isn't the best place. And hi, Hannah. Hannah Heath is here. If you want regular updates, my newsletter is actually going out on Sunday, and that's probably the best place to get it. Or if you go to my website, you can find a link to my Discord channel, and that's a little bit more relaxed. I put updates, ask questions, chat with people, give people a chance to kind of give input. And that's the best places to kind of get to know me a little bit more and stay updated on things. So April's should have been a big deal for other reasons, and I had kind of, because of craziness, haven't got a chance to really plan much, but I still want it to be kind of exciting because April is actually my anniversary as a published author. So Revelation was my first published book, and that was published 3 years ago on the 23rd, and things are falling apart over here already. So yeah, that's coming up on 3 years now, and I'm trying to kind of make a big deal of it, but like I said, things kind of got crazy, but I still have a few celebratory things planned. So one of the biggest things is I actually made a graphic that I want to do every year to kind of celebrate my brand, Exploratory Fiction, and to make some new merch out of, and then also hold a giveaway. So this is my new graphic. And this is to kind of just celebrate exploratory fiction, my brand, more so than any particular book. So I have here the compass, which is for the exploratory part. And then up here on the upper side, we have space, which is an indication of science fiction. And down here is the earth, which is an indication of fantasy, which kind of completes speculative fiction. We could kind of say I was playing with some horror stuff over here, but I decided not to go there. Although horror is part of my brand as well. And Hannah said so pretty. Thank you very much, Hannah. And I apologize for Zombie Cat over here throwing things into disarray. You can't see her very well, but whenever I turn on a camera, she decides it's her job to make things as miserable as possible. But yeah, anyway, so with this graphic, not only do I have some new merch, right now I have a mug from Teespring, and then I also have, just yesterday I did a hoodie. So the hoodie will be similar to this one I'm wearing right now. This is from my merch shop, and this one is from the Malfunction series. So I have a hoodie in this brand, and then I actually also have, this is the mug that the graphic is going to be on. So it's very similar to this. And this is one from my merch shop for the Raven Tree Society. So I'm actually holding a giveaway for the mug, and that has this graphic on the front, and then it has my logo on the back, and that is going to be finishing up on the 23rd. So if you want to enter the running for that, head over to my website, go under content, and then under extras, and you will see everything you need to sign up right there. So that's as far as that news. I also have news about Malfunction, and that is this one right here, my science fiction series. This is the first book in that, and I just recently, hi Abigail. Abigail Hayes is here. It's really good to see her. Malfunction is my science fiction, and the two I have out in that right now is Malfunction and Disintegration, and I'm working on Connection right now. I'm actually working on the climax, so I have hopes to get that out in the middle of this year, but I'm not going to make any promises because it's already been kind of pushed off enough. I don't want to get people excited. But Revelation is actually the first one, and it's a kind of a prequel novella to these, if you're not familiar. And that's the book I was saying is it's the Pool Publishing Services is my cover designer and formatter. She did an incredible job on the cover, but she updated it. So in the new version, I actually have on the back the other covers from the trilogy in the back, so you'll be able to see, where the book is in the trilogy. I have a few little things moved around. Then we've also gone in and fixed some of the typos and kind of stumbling speech and first book issues on the inside. And the main reason for me doing that is because I am working on getting this turned into an audiobook. So I wanted it to be the best it could possibly be for that. So I have that kind of in production right now. I'm looking for a voice actor. If you're interested, head over to ACX and look it up. But as far as news for now with Malfunction, the new version is up on all of my retailers. And if my cat doesn't knock over my computer here like she's bound to, Edge, come on, kitty. Yes, she's horrible. Yes, it's up on all my retailers, and from the 5th to the 11th, Malfunction is only 99 cents on all non-Amazon retailers. So if you head over to Amazon, it's going to be its regular price. But if you go to Kobo, you go to iBooks, you go to any of those places, you can get Malfunction for only 99 cents. And it says Zombie Cat is her favorite. Oh, she's a mess. But yeah, so you guys can grab that for 99 cents, which is almost as good as free. So that's kind of the big news for this month. I don't have a ton else going on. I'll probably do some live streams and stuff. I've been considering doing some readings. I'm doing some with Phoenix Fiction Writers, which is the author collective that I'm part of. And if you guys want to give your input as well, I asked my Discord channel, and I'm holding the computer because my cat's trying to knock it over, very diligently trying to knock it over. Would you guys be more interested in the first 3 chapters of Malfunction or so let me know which one of those you're more interested in. If I do the Raven Tree Society, it probably won't stay for more than a month. Just because I have this up on Kindle Direct, and they can kind of be jerks about it sometimes. So I'm going to slip in under the radar, and hopefully they won't notice. But as long as it's not in writing, right? But yeah, if you are interested in me reading this on a live stream, I can do that, or the first 3 chapters of Malfunction. So give me your input, and we'll see which one works. Hannah says Raven Tree. Funny story. So now that my kind of announcements are up, I can just get into the random talking points. So the other day, my husband woke up, and we were just kind of hanging out in bed because we had nowhere to be. I'm on quarantine, so he's on quarantine as well. Cat. So he asked me to read him some of my books because he's not a big reader, so he hasn't read anything of mine. He's only read, a few bits and pieces here and there. So I asked him which one. He said, let's read Raven Tree. So I started reading Raven Tree to him, and he never actually read it before. And he's kind of fallen asleep next to me, and I get past the first part. So for anyone who's read Raven Tree, I know Hannah has, but there's a shower scene, bathtub scene, which bathtub scenes in horror movies, you know how it goes. So we get past that, and my husband goes, stop. And I'm what's wrong? He goes, I can't do this. Now we have to understand that my husband, he's in a biker club. His profession is a bouncer. He works security. And apparently he's not scared by anything, but by his words, the only thing that scares him is Stephen King, which, people get scared by Stephen King. And apparently the Raven Tree Society freaked him out. So I was quite proud about that. His exact words were, why didn't he realize this was real? He's like, why did he think this was a dream, the main character? So apparently I did the right thing and freaked out my husband. That's great. And Hannah says she's at work, so she's going to miss chunks. But I appreciate you kind of hanging out here anyways, Abigail. I'm not saying anything too important anymore, just rambling. So anyways, that's my funny story about Raven Tree Society, is that I scared my husband with it. It says author goals. Good job. Yay! Just what every horror author wants to do, terrify their husbands. So yeah, as long as we're sitting here and talking books, my sister just released her first book. I'm very proud of her. So she is published with a small publisher called Intense. And this is her book here, The Rescuer. So I know that's kind of been making rounds with a lot of people that I'm familiar with on social media and stuff. The Author Book Club, which is run by Kale Pierce, just read this, and I got a chance to, get in on that conversation. But I've also seen a lot of other people, put it on their Goodreads and stuff. But it's really good. When this cat, I swear. Yeah, I can't have a professional live stream because my cats have ruined my life. Yeah, okay, so when we were younger, we were really into the Star Wars, I think they're called the Star Wars Apprentice series. They kind of follow Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi when Obi-Wan Kenobi was a teenager. So they're YA, but we loved them. And that's, I think, kind of the vibe she was going with here. And of course, it's very different. It's not Star Wars universe. It takes place under the ocean with a group of teenagers trying to rescue the main character's best friend from a certain death. I love it. She did an amazing job. I've kind of been there since the beginning. She wrote this when we were teenagers, and I read it when we were teenagers and loved it. And then she came back, after I'd published. She had tried to publish it for a while, and then she set it aside. And then after I published, she kind of went back at it and fixed it all up. Not that it was that broken to begin with, but yeah, I'm just really proud of her. Looks great. It is great. I really enjoyed rereading it. So if you guys are bored and want something to read, this one. And then as far as other releases, my critique partner just came out with a fourth book in her Get in My Head series, which is this one here, Daniel. Daniel has been my favorite since the beginning. And funny story, Revelation, this was written before Revelation was, and 3 years ago. And so Hannah says she loves the covers. Yes, these covers are gorgeous. This is why art matters, guys. These are custom art for covers, and as much as I really appreciate what artists can do with putting pictures together for covers, when a cover is well done with custom art, I mean, it's awe-inspiring. And that's, these are gorgeous. If you look on the back, I have all of them. But if you look on the back, those are the rest in the series. So they really are gorgeous. Every time I post them on my Bookstagram, I get people, in awe. But anyways, this is Daniel. So Daniel was written before Revelation was written, and I kind of started this tradition of hiding my fellow writers' books in mine. Specifically in my malfunction books. So this one is mentioned in Revelation. My critique partner, Janelle, her book is hidden in Infraction. I think Malfunction is the one. Nope, Disintegration is the one where E.B. Dawson's book is hidden. Malfunction is the only one that doesn't actually have a book hidden in it. And I was going to fix that when I went back, but couldn't find a good place for it. But yeah, so I like to hide my fellow authors' books around. But anyway, so this one was in Revelation 3 years before it's published. This was just published a couple months ago. And so for the longest time, I looked like a liar because I had this non-existent book, Get in My Head Daniel story. And there were other Get in My Head books. So, I look like this idiot saying, Get in My Head Daniel story. It's like, no, there's Cameron's story and there's Sarah's and Jared's were all out before this one, but there is no Daniel story. Well, now finally I am proven correct. Daniel is out in the world and I don't look like an idiot anymore. Yay! So I'm quite proud to have that one out as well. So yeah, so right now I've been actually doing a lot of art myself. I actually have my art portfolio here. I was just going to show you guys a few pieces, but do you guys want to look through my art portfolio? Would that be interesting? I only have 3 people watching, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. So this is the one I wanted to show you guys. I decided to do my own portraits from the Malfunction trilogy. And Hannah says yes. I'm going to take that as go ahead. So I started doing my own portraits from the Malfunction trilogy. I'm not entirely happy with how they turned out, mostly because they're not quite how I see them in my head, and I think that's never going to be perfect, unless I have someone else do it, honestly. But also because I just feel like this wasn't the right medium to work in. So I'm happiest with this one. This one is Bass, and I tried to bring in that cyberpunk like neon. So this one's Bass, and his freckles are horrible. And then Cowl is my least favorite. He kind of looks weird. But Cowl's hair, in my defense, is very, very, very hard to do. And I think the yellow just did a great disservice to him. But there's Cowl. And then finally is Minerva. And she has blue light on her and blue hair. And yes, her hair is blue in the first book. And I'm not, she was my least favorite when I was drawing them, but she turned out okay. She doesn't have the horrible freckles of Bass. But I'm going to try and not rag on myself, but artists are their own worst critics, right? And Hannah says that Minerva's blue hair makes her very happy. It makes me happy too. That's why I gave her blue hair, even though she doesn't seem like a blue hair kind of person when you're reading the story. So let's kind of dig through. Some of these are really old, and some of these I'm not going to show you because I have a few book covers from books that are not released yet, so I don't want to show you those. But some of you guys may have seen this one. This is on my extras page. I was attempting to paint my own cover for Revelation, and I did this one. This is Bass, and that's his tech there, his cybernetic spine, which I'm not good at technology, so it's not quite how I imagined it, but, you know, it's getting there. Unfortunately, when I put this up on, and my focus is all out, when I put this up on the internet and asked people's opinions, most people were like, this is cool, but not a good cover. There's no room for the title or whatnot. And then other people said that it looked like an erotica. I don't know if it's because of the pose or because it's a guy without a shirt, but I definitely don't want my books confused with erotica. So as much as I actually really like this piece of art, and I mostly like it because as much as I like art of characters' faces, I really like my readers to be able to imagine themselves. I think it brings them into the story a little bit more. And I'm fighting my cat off again. But yeah, this is not appropriate for books. So here's some older pieces. I drew this a while ago, random horse drawing, because I love horses. I grew up drawing horses, grew up around horses. I was going to start taking my art really seriously as a business for a while, and this was one of the ones I was drawing for that. But things just didn't progress the right way. You know, when you work 50 hours a week, you kind of have to pick and choose what you want your side business to be. This one is really, really old, and it's been used for a couple of other things. So it's it's got sticky tape and whatnot on the back. But this one was drawn out of a child really fun magazine at some point. So it's kind of hard to see that that's like tin roofing and whatnot. But yeah, really old one. Thank you, Hannah. She says my style is really beautiful. These ones you guys are going to recognize. So this is the cover art for Raven Tree Season 2. Here, I'll show you guys in conjunction with the actual book. Haha. And this is why cover designers matter. Like, this is okay. This is gorgeous. And I can even say that not liking my art. But Poole did an amazing job. So that one's Season 2. Excuse my coughing. I am like I said, Quarantine for a reason. This is season 1, along with a book. And I actually really enjoyed painting forests, so I'm quite happy with how this came out, but I really like the blue tones that she brought out in the book. And Abigail says, love those. Thank you. And this is season 3, which I don't have the book of, but I really love how the cover turned out with this one. So I gotta have the Haunted Mansion, so if you're not familiar with the stories, season 1, I have the bike here, and that's from episode 2. And I'm not going to give away what in episode 2, so you'll have to read those to figure out. And Abigail says forests and blue are always awesome. Thank you. This one is quite easily seen to be the graveyard in episodes in season 2 and episodes 1 and episodes 5. But I have the little candle in there from episode 1. And then this one is from season 3, and it hasn't come out yet, episode 4. So the second to last one. And if you look really close, it has the hangman's noose from our kind of main bad guy. So that's kind of the little hidden one in that one. So Abigail asked how I broke up the seasons. She says she's been a little bit confused. All right, that's a good question. That's a great question. Okay, so each season has 5 stories in them, and I can kind of show you each story is about 10,000 words. So we have each one kind of broken up there, and there's no chapters. It's just one straight, 10,000 word story. They have, my cat's moving my light, which is why everything's boring right now. I'm blaming everything on my cat because I can. So each story, each season kind of has its own arc. It has one main mystery that they're trying to solve. So I'm not going to tell you the one in season 2 because that's giving away things. But in season 1, the kind of mystery that they're trying to solve is if Tyler, the main character's younger brother, is alive or dead. And that will be answered by the end of this. So each season has its own arc. And then each episode kind of reveals a little bit more of that. But they each have their own complete storyline. So each episode has its own complete story, and each season has its own complete story. But then there's also an overarching story and theme for the entire series. So the reason why I'm putting them together in the book is because doing paperbacks for 10,000 word short stories is just, it's not economical. They're not very pretty. And I don't want to have to do, 15 different covers. So it works really well to put them together into 50,000 word books. But you can pick up each of the episodes. Each episode drops every other month, and they're only 99 cents. So you can read each episode as they come out, or you can wait till October and read the entire season. And then season 3 will be over. The last one comes out in November, and then the season comes out in October, which is, perfect for Halloween. So Abigail says, that always impresses me. What always impresses you? Where were we? I'm going to have to go back in the comments and see what we're talking about. There we go. Interesting choice. Yes. Well, you might be able to read this series out of order. I wouldn't suggest it. For me, they're kind of, I mimicked kind of a TV series. So how, each series, sometimes they have filler episodes and stuff, which I don't really have filler episodes in these. And that's why I call them episodes and seasons. So this would be less like, for instance, a crime story that you could just pick up anywhere and solve one particular crime. If you wanted just a scare, you could probably pick up any and still get a complete story, still get a complete ghost story, but you might be lost as to the overarching story. So it could just kind of depends if you need to understand everything. And I have had some frustration from readers who felt like it was a little bit incomplete because they didn't quite understand it. So readers have actually really enjoyed the format, but those who are confused, enjoy the series a little bit less. So I like the format myself. I really enjoy them, but I probably won't continue doing this too much, if that makes sense. So yeah, we'll get back to the art. Okay, this one you guys have already seen multiple times, and that's my raven. Someday I might color it. I might put in some, probably all I need is like some brown paint. But I'm actually really proud of this one. I like that one a lot. This one is another oldie. This is from when we first got married. I'm really into fish. I have 2 tanks right now, and I used to be even more into fish. But this is a blue gourami. This is my blue gourami who is named Natiri because she's blue and she's got antenna like Natiri from Avatar. So Natiri, really old one. Here is one of my Bolivian rams. And this is pretty old too. But I really like the color that came out in this one. This was one of my favorite fish. I just loved this one. Was one from my tank. I just snapped the picture and painted that. And this one is watercolor and ink. And this one's from a picture my mom took at the seashore. I call it stink eye. It is a pelican giving you the stink eye. Abigail says, it reminds you of your own fishies. Yay, fellow fish keeper. And thank you, Hannah. She said it's very realistic looking. This one I was practicing to draw city maps. And I never actually finished it. But because I would love to put some maps in the beginning of my books. And I have a fantasy that's just kind of been hanging out, waiting for me to finish it. But anyways, that was my practice for that. Maybe someday I'll finish it. And that'd be fun. Abigail says I should put those on my Discord channel. Maybe I should. Okay. Well, this one I will show you guys. Well, I have to debate if I want to show you or not. This one doesn't belong to me. I'm going to not show you guys that one, just in case. Abigail says 2 of her goldfish are pregnant. Oh, fun, baby fishies. Okay, so these are the last 2 that I have in this particular portfolio that I can show you. The other 2 don't belong to me. They're from Janelle's books. One is a map, and one is her the next cover in her Stewart stories. I did the covers of her books too, if you ever look at those. But a long time ago, I told the little girl Annie that I was going to illustrate a book for her. And this is as far as I've gotten. So not gonna